Hello and welcome to Kiddick Farms. We're back with another episode of the Royalton, Minnesota map. And we've been finishing up a little bit of our tillage here. We did quite a bit of this last episode, so I thought we would get a head start on this before we started the episode. This is our biggest field here. If we take a quick look at the map, field 29 is our biggest field, and then we also have field 27 over here that we need to knock out. And so we're getting started here. Now, one thing that I noticed since last episode, if we bring up the seasons menu, we're almost out of time for planting potatoes. And so we need to get these potatoes in the ground here sooner than later. We could wait one more day and see what happens. And the weather potentially looks okay tomorrow. But anytime it's cloudy, I'm worried that that might turn into some rain. And I think we could probably get away with putting some of those in a little early. And so what I want to do is plant 2 fields of potatoes. And we're going to plant one field today and one field tomorrow, just to kind of give us that compare and contrast. And we'll see if there's actually any difference with seasons in planting one field before the ground temperature hits 41 degrees, and then I'm almost positive it's going to be 41 degrees tomorrow. And so as soon as we're done plowing this field, we're going to go and get the workers started on this other field, and then we're going to go ahead and get this potato planter out and set up. All right, so we finished up the last pass on this field here, and so we're going to jump over across our driveway here, and we're going to actually take a headland pass off on this field just to make sure we're not turning into the driveway and tearing that up too much. And once we get the headlands off on this field, we're going to go ahead and let the worker take over on tilling this field up, I think. Because we've done enough tillage for now. I think we can afford to bring in a hired hand for a few hours to wrap this up for us. And we really need to get a start on this planting. So I think what we're going to end up doing for planting is putting potatoes in both of those fields that we already put nitrogen on with the anhydrous ammonia because we kind of over-applied anhydrous to those fields. And I guess I could probably put corn in one of them. But to be honest, I think we might even have too much for corn in at least one of those fields. And so potatoes ignore when you put extra anhydrous on, or extra nitrogen, I should say, on the field. There's a thing in precision farming for certain crops where they ignore extra fertilization. And so it's safe to put the potatoes in. Potatoes don't need or use a lot of nitrogen. And so it'll be a good test of that mechanic to make sure that they're not being negatively affected by it. Wow, this field is a little bit crazy. I painted the ditches a little better in the other field, but it looks like I forgot to do this field. But anyway, as I was saying, the potatoes shouldn't be affected by the extra nitrogen, and running around of potatoes in there should drain some of the nitrogen out of the soil, which will give us an opportunity to put a different crop in there after the potatoes next year. And so I'm not sure what we're going to rotate in. I don't think they're going to drain it enough to put sunflowers in, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, though, I think 2 fields of potatoes will be a good test, and I'm hoping that 2 headland passes is going to be enough down here to keep us out of the ditch. We're going to go ahead and just run right back up here and start him back off on these long rows. I'm going to let him get a little bit up here and start the worker off. And we're going to go and hook the 6R up to the potato planter, I think. And we need to get it out of this cow shed. I was using this to clean up after the cows, I think, at some point here. So we're gonna go drop the front loader off, I think, And you'll notice that I have a little bit of extra money right now. And that's because I took out a little bit more of a loan. And so we are getting quite far in debt on this series, which is okay, I suppose. We've got, let's go check. I think it's 700,000 in debt now. We did that so we could buy some liquid fertilizer to use in the planters. We are going to use liquid fertilizer in both the potato planter and the DB60. Now, we don't need any fertilizer in the potato planter right now because we've got plenty of nitrogen down on the ground already. So we're not even going to bother putting any in. But I knew we were going to need some for the DB60. And honestly, I forgot that we weren't going to need any in the potato harvester when I was figuring out what we were going to do for buying stuff. Looks like the hoses don't hook up on this thing. So we're going to go ahead and pull this out and get it unfolded. Now, what is interesting is I can't figure out how to buy potatoes to get the planter started here. And so I've got to think through what we're gonna do to get potatoes so that we can plant. All right, so after doing some digging around, I've come to the conclusion that the best way to get potatoes was to use F11 and fill this truck up with them, since there's nowhere that I can buy potatoes. And if I then come in here and take a look at the commodity prices, potatoes, the price per ton is around 200, we'll say. A little bit less here, a little bit more here. And so I've got 37.21 tons times 200 would be like 7,400 and something. So we're going to go ahead and just call this 7,500. And we're going to come in here and we're going to take $7,500 away for my truck of potatoes. And then we're going to just toss these into our storage here. And that's going to give us some potatoes to plant with. I probably could have just used seed or something, but I don't know. This just felt better, more realistic to me. Even though we are using some tools to help us along here. I like this better. Now, I don't have any belts or what do you call them, the conveyor belts for the potatoes or anything purchased just yet. I haven't figured out what we're gonna do with that, and so I'm gonna dump them into this root storage, and then I guess I'm just gonna park this truck here in case I need it again. But I'm gonna see if we can run this potato planter over here and just put the potatoes right into right into the planter from the root storage. Since all of our fields are right here by the farm, this is going to be the easiest option for us. And it does look like I'm going to be able to put them in here. It looks like my potatoes are set to bushels in this thing. Might need to make an update to have the potatoes show in a similar unit across all of my vehicles, but for the time being, I guess this is going to work. And then if we unfold the potato planter here, I should be able to plant this field. Now, what I like about the potato planter is it's nice and wide, unlike the potato harvester that we're inevitably going to have to use. And so we're going to go ahead and start planting these potatoes. And I guess we're going to figure out here at some point. I haven't been paying attention. I have no idea if multi-terrain angle is on this map. I don't know a lot about planting potatoes. And so I will be very curious to see in the description, in the comments below, when you guys watch this video, on the proper way to do things like headlands and stuff with potatoes. I assume I would do those at the end for potatoes. Now, hired workers are probably not going to be able to figure that out if I do decide to hire a worker for this. which, given how many potatoes we need to plant, that might be something we do. But I think that if I was planting potatoes, I would probably leave the headlands to the end, given that you're mounding the dirt up so much to bury the potato in. I got to imagine potatoes are not the kind of crop that you really want to drive over on a regular basis. So I'm thinking they probably don't bounce back super well. But that's something, if there's any potato farmers out there watching the videos, I would love to hear a little bit about best practices with potato farming. Now, we're going to get to the edge of this ditch right quick. And I was kind of wondering if we were going to have enough room to do this. I think we're going to not. I'm also wondering if skip rows is a thing with potatoes. I think that, at least for me, it makes sense. I mean, with GPS, we might want to actually set the appropriate width on our GPS. So we've made a mess out of this. We're going to go back down here and try that again. I think that I just forgot to set that up. So let's grab the inside row here. We'll kind of clean up our mistake a little bit, and then we'll come back and hit that up next time. Now I'm seeing something that makes me wonder if there's no multi-terrain angle, because that looked like a pretty steep angle there when we deviated. I really should have paid attention when we were doing the cultivating. Maybe I'll grab the plow. See, the cultivation texture is so generic, or not generic. Generic's a bad word. It's so smoothed out everywhere. I can't tell what direction we really cultivated the soil in. So it's directionless, I guess would be a better word. But this potato planter is going pretty good. 7 miles an hour is a good clip. And we're not using that many potatoes, which is good. I was worried I was going to have to run back up to the silo every couple of loads. So I am glad that this seems to be working out pretty good. I'm kind of curious. I probably should have put duals onto this thing. That potato harvester's pretty hefty, but we seem to be doing all right. So I'm just going to go with this and see how far we can get. Now I'm going to skip some rows just to make life easier. I think I saw in a couple of videos that I was watching of real-life potato farming where the farmers were definitely skipping rows when they were planting the potatoes. With GPS these days, I've got to imagine that you can do that with just about anything now. All right, so we're making good progress on this field. I think our plow might have finished over there. I'm not sure. We probably need to go check on him. I'm hesitant to let the helper kind of take over on this guy. But I guess we are now on a nice straight part. And so we're going to do it. And so just jumping over here, it does look like this guy finished everything up. And so we'll just bring this right back up into the yard here and get the wings folded up. And yeah, we should be able to get this over there before we need to catch up with that other guy. Now, I forgot to install one of the mods that I want on this series, which is the treat cultivator as plow mod when it comes to plowing in field boundaries and stuff. So we're gonna actually get that installed at some point, and I'm just now realizing I really wanted to plow this grass field in and make this alfalfa. So we're gonna go ahead and do that here. Now I'm trying to figure out why all of a sudden that looks like he's trying to fertilize. We do not need helpers buying anything, so we're gonna go ahead and turn all of that off. I can't imagine that he actually needed to apply any fertilizer over there. Let's just take a quick look at the precision farming map. It doesn't look like he actually applied any fertilizer, but it did change the ground texture, so it's always something. So here I'm looking at our total bushels left in the hopper. We're at 41% of the potatoes are left in here, which is pretty good. It means we're not going through these potatoes very fast. So I'm going to go ahead and let the helper continue on here so that we can go ahead and take the headlands off on this other field with the 7R and get the worker plowing on this field. We did spread the lime on here, and so this is going to let us go ahead and, like I was saying, put alfalfa over here instead of just grass. I think that's going to do better for the feed mixture on this map. There's a lot of custom stuff that needs the alfalfa hay for, I think, mixing TMR and other things has been kind of redone on this map. And so we want to make sure we're trying out some of the new things. So we're going to just take the quick and easy path down to the end of the field here since we're already on the road. It'll be faster to let us take our headlands off if we don't plow our way down. And the helper is acting like I expected a helper would. We completely forgot while we were turning around that the helper was probably going to get to the end of that field before we finish this headland up. Goodness. All right, so let's just get this helper going, which should hopefully work fine. And then we'll go see if we can deal with getting that 6R out of the ditch. It's always something on the farm when you get some hired help. This ditch is not only steep, but a little bit jagged here. I think that might actually be helping us out more than anything because it gave us something to grab onto there with the tires. Let's go ahead and get GPS turned back on. And I think we can grab a track right over here. And that's going to let us get going here again. I'm watching this plow in the distance, really hoping that he's not going to crash into these bins as he's turning around. He is moving still. What's he doing? He's turning. He's turning. Doesn't look like he crashed into anything, so I think we're good to go with the plow. Awesome. So if we look at the seasons menu again here, alfalfa and wet corn can both go in at 43 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a little bit warmer than what the potatoes need. So I think we're going to hold off another day before we plant any of that. And I'm also realizing we don't have anything to plant alfalfa with. So that's going to be another expenditure that we're going to need to make. All right, so most of the time we were able to actually run this out to the end, but we've got these couple of spots where we didn't get the potatoes planted, so I think I'm going to just try and manually do this. I'm becoming increasingly suspicious that this map does not have multi-terrain angle, which is going to make me sad, but maybe it's just because it's potatoes. I don't know. We're going to find out, though, at some point here. And maybe I'll be sad, maybe I'll be surprised, maybe we'll put a potato planter in the ditch. Either way, we will have answers. I think I've got just one little pass left over here, which is good because looking in the back of this thing, we do not have a lot of potatoes left. And so I'm going to just run up this little straggler of a line here on the edge. And we're going to be done planting potatoes for today because, like I said, we want to wait and plant the other field after the temperature warms up here a bit to make sure that we're getting a good test of before and after appropriate temperature on these fields. So that's going to be cool. And of course, we had to run out of seed right before the end. No idea why course play's open. All right, we're gonna do it. Let's go fill this thing up and get the last little strip planted. All right, so we grabbed another batch of potatoes here, and we're just polishing off this last little bit that was left. I wasn't recording, but when we filled up the planter, I realized that this planter holds about 7 tons of potatoes, I don't know how realistic that is, but that many potatoes, we had 37 in the truck, and we had 30 left in the bin here when we filled up here, so I guess we've used about a third of the potatoes out of that truck, and I think the other field that we're going to plant is actually bigger than this one, and so that means that we've got just about the right amount of potatoes. I don't think we'll use them all. I think we'll have some potatoes left, but it is kind of cool to see that it's going to work out pretty close to what we needed. I'm just going to drive this out here and set it up for planting tomorrow, because I don't think we're supposed to get any rain. It's supposed to stay pretty dry, and so it'll be nice to have everything set up and ready to go. This field does look like it has some curve to it, but that's okay. We'd probably just set the GPS and do the straight track and then clean the pieces up, but we're going to leave that for tomorrow. And I'm going to jump over here into the plow, and it looks like we're on the final pass here with the plow as well, which is nice. And so I think this is going to be a good spot to wrap up the episode. We got all of our tillage done. If we look at the map here, all of this has been tilled up now. It's good to go. We do still need to make a field out of the part up here. We'll probably make that a project for after we're done planting. That'll be a good summer project to turn that into another alfalfa field. And then we will be pretty much all set for cows and stuff, I think, as long as we get the rest of our corn in. We need to plant some wet corn and probably some sunflowers, I'm thinking. So we'll see what goes into some of these other fields. But next episode, we're going to be worried about getting the potatoes in and probably starting on some of the corn planting. And then we'll figure out what's going into the rest of these fields right after that. That's all for today. Kedrick, out.